your phones just to, again, might be one thing, all right? Here we go. Any organization starts right here at the top. Okay, you have your perception, or let's do reality at the top, at the bottom of your perception of where you're at. Any country, our country, Africa, any country starts poor, and they know they're poor. So reality is here, we're poor, and our perception is we're poor. Okay, we get it. Okay, when Steve Jobs and Wozniak were eating in their garage, and they had to have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, did you ever think they thought them as a rich company? No way. They were poor, and they were what? They knew it. Okay? Now, as you guys go through, our country starts out here. Okay? Every single country, at some point, was poor, and they knew it. Then now, as a country, you move up to reality, and you become rich, but you still remember what it's like to be poor. Okay? And so as you guys go through, if you watch any great civilization, whether it's Rome, whether it's the Persians, whether it's the Mongols, okay, at some point, they're rich. And they know they're rich. But they still perceive themselves as struggling. Same thing with Apple. Okay, in the 80s, Wozniak, Jobs, they knew that they struggled for 10 years to try to get there, even though they were building huge new factories, even though they were going public, even though they had $100 million in their bank account now, they still remembered the struggle. All right? You okay there?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Now, any organization, okay? Any organization, any professional team that we talk about, we can still use this model right here. Up here, okay, this is where you hit the pinnacle, okay? For Rome, it was probably right around the time just before Christ was born. Okay, they had this republic, they had this individual liberty, they had this ability to trade with anybody in the world, they had this small military budget for the most part. Things were pretty cool in Rome. And they kind of forgot, because it had been 500 years since the founding, they were rich. Okay, they would go into these phenomenal cities, they would have hot water, they would have baths, they would have amenities that you and I take for, it was like going to Somerset. Okay, that's what it was like 2,000 years ago in Rome, is you're hanging out at Somerset. Got marbled walls, you got tiled floors, you got all kinds of new types of fabric where people are wearing. Same thing for Apple. Okay, at some point, they're rich, and they kind of know they're rich. All right? So as a country, again, as a sports team, boom, the Patriots are rich, and they know what? They don't remember struggling. They don't remember the 20 years that we watched them as little kids, and they really kind of stunk. All right, now on the backside is you get the downfall of, again, reality now is you're poor, but it's still you remember what it's like to be rich. Okay? And this is the one place you never want to be in your life. As an organization, as an individual, all right, as a country, is you never want to get to that point. Oh my God, we're here. We're the best. Okay? China, in the 15th century. If you would ask anybody in the world the 15th century, what's the best country in the world in terms of living at, if you had to pick one spot, who's going to dominate? Everybody would have said China. Okay, they were so far ahead of everybody. Coming out of the Dark Ages in Europe, the Middle East was still disorganized. China was ahead of everybody. And then what do? They closed off all their borders. They burned all their ships. They basically stopped trading. New ideas stopped sprouting. And they basically had about a 500-year decline until 1977. Okay, it didn't get any better in China. All right. So as we talk about economic growth, hey Tess, as we talk about economic growth, you're back to where you start. Okay. So why is economic growth important in understanding the vehicles and the policies that drive it? Is that we never want to get back to that situation where our kids are struggling, your kids are struggling, you guys are struggling. Okay? 25 years ago in Venezuela, kids were sitting in class just like you. They had access to pretty much food in the refrigerator. They could go to the hospitals. They could be treated right away. Their dads had good paying jobs. The moms were entering workforce. And then again, a charismatic leader comes along with bad economic policies. And he turns those economic policies into reality, and 30 years later, now all of a sudden the kids today in your age, they're worried about starving to death. They're worried about getting a little cold and dying because they can't get into a hospital that has a facility to take care of them. That's their reality. Okay? They still remember when they're rich, especially the people that are in their 25, 30 years old. Okay, they're walking around 8, 9 years old thinking this is the greatest thing in the world. And then all of a sudden now, 30 years later, we don't want that situation, okay? Any questions? Did I do well, Sid? How'd I do?
You did great.
I did great.